Dear students of Standard 8, today we are going to revise your Unit 2, that is Man's Relationship with Animals. Now, what does this heading say? Man's relationship with animals. Now, here, what happens is human to human relationship is okay when you speak or when you express your feelings or certain emotions. But what about the animals? Animals, they don't speak to us, but most of the time they show their relationship, their bonding, or their love to their owners with their gestures. Gestures means with their facial expressions or their activities. Okay, so here there is a lesson about this same type of feelings or emotions between man and animal. You must have already heard some of the stories of this type of relationship. Yeah, and that's why most of the people keep animals as their pet. Why? Because their relationship is with bonding love, maybe between the master and the cat or the master and the dog. Why? You know very well that. Let us take this simple example of a dog. Dog guards the house. Now, why does he guard house? Because the owner or the master shows great love towards him. Any street dog will not guard your house, yeah, but your own pet dog will guard the house. This shows the relationship or bonding with that particular dog with your parents or with you. Now let's begin the lesson, activity 1. Once there was an Arab who owned a very fine horse. Now, owned a very fine horse means he had a horse. Okay, and very good fine horse he was. Okay, why it is said very fine horse means it was very nice one in a relationship. Okay, now you will say, ma'am, all the horses are nice. Yeah, sure. All animals are good, but the particular animal which you can keep as pet will show more love or concern to you. And that's why he says he has a fine horse who would understand the feelings of this master. The Arab treated him with care and kindness. Now, Arab, who was the one, you can see in the pic also, that he was treating this horse with much care and kindness. He was taking so much of care, and with good wishes, he was looking after this very particular horse. One day, the Arab was attacked by some robbers. Now, one day, what happened? Usually, Arabs are in deserts. You must have heard, you must have seen in many movies, okay? And they move from different places. So, here he might have gone into the desert or passing through the desert, and some robbers had attacked him. Yeah, attacked means they must have beaten him, or whatever he had with him, they must have grabbed from him. So he was attacked. He fell off the horse. So when these robbers attacked him, he fell down from his own horse. Of course, this very fine horse with whom he was always there. He was so seriously wounded that he was not able to get up. So this Arab was so seriously wounded, means he had got very deep wounds, or he was injured so much so that he was not able to get up. Okay, now he is only the one, and the robbers may be many. It is not said robber. If robber means only one, but in front of him maybe there may be many robbers. Okay, and you know usually what happens, robbers or the thieves, what they come in a group. Okay, so here also those people might have come into the group, and that's why he was not able to fight with them, and then he was injured. His horse saw this. So his horse saw this, that my master is so much of having bleeding, or he is wounded so much, so I need to help. See, now no one had told him, but he understood. Why? because that bonding, that feeling, and that love was there between horse and with this Arab. He understood that his master was badly hurt. So he understood that my master is very badly hurt. Now what should I do? Okay, he is actually animal. If he could do something like a human being, he would have done great thing. But since he is an animal, whatever he could do for him, he tried to do it. He seized his master's belt between his teeth and brought him home. Now what happened? He seized his master's belt. So master tied that belt, and what happened? This horse. Now he can't carry this Arab like us we can carry in the arms or whatever way. But what he did? He lifted his master with the belt which he had tied, and between his teeth. Now horse teeth are very strong. So it brought him home. People who saw this praised both the horse and his master. So people, or from his own area side or neighbors, those who saw this, so they all of them praised him. Not only the horse, his master. Why it is said? Because the way the master had loved this horse, in return, he also loved his master very much. And that was the real love, the real bonding between horse and the master. Now, there are two questions. The first question is, how did the horse help the master? Now, you have already seen in the lines, I have already underlined that the sentence is there, his horse saw this. Then what happens? He understood that his master was badly hurt. He seized his master's belt between his teeth and brought him home. So this is how he helped him. So you can write, when the horse saw this, he understood that his master was badly wounded or hurt. He seized his belt. See, he seized his master's belt between his teeth and brought him home. So this is how he helped him. Next question. What does the incident convey about man-animal relationship? Well, what does this I say about this relationship? What is the relationship? क्या बॉन्डिंग है आदमी और हॉर्स के बीच में और आदमी और एनिमल के बीच में? So, as I was explaining to you, most of the time I was telling about bond of love. So it's something that when he or animal or the horseman or the owner has the deep love for each other, that makes the bonding very strong, and then both of them remain faithful to each other. Faithful to each other means दोनों वफादारी दिखाते हैं. आदमी भी वफादारी दिखाता है, एनिमल भी वफादारी दिखाता है. Okay? So answer you can write, when human beings have very strong bond of love with animals, both become faithful to each other. Next, share with the class the story of Rana Pratap's Chetan and his loyalty. Now here the story is about Rana Pratap. Now Rana Pratap was a great emperor who was ruling Mewar. Okay, and then what happens? He had one fine horse like this type of horse, and his name was Chetan. And this horse was also faithful like this horse which we just heard. I'm not going to elaborate so long the story, but I just want to tell you the gist of it or the essence of the story. So he had that horse, and that horse, like since he was a warrior, he had to go for fighting. Okay, so when this Rana Pratap used to go for fighting, this horse were very faithful to him, and this horse had a very particular thing on his face. Okay, he has a plate or magnet things which could attack the enemy, and he had put like an elephant's trunk. Okay, he had that type of metallic thing on his face so that he could attack the person who comes in front, or even he would jump higher than the horse and then attack the enemy. So once it had happened that this Rana Pratap was also wounded like this man, and Chetan, what he did, he held his master, and then he took his master away from those enemies, and then he brought him in a place which was very safer for him. And that's why you can understand this faithfulness of animal. Okay, it's here only telling about horse, but there are so many animals who are very faithful to their masters. Now, activity 2. A secret for two. Now, what is the main activity in this is Montreal is a very large city of Canada. So in Canada there is a Montreal city which is very large, and it has some very fine, wide and big streets like Prince Edward Street. So there are so many streets. Streets means you know that in cities you can see so many houses lined in a row or in a series, and between there they have the places which are very wide where you can put lights, street lights and all these things. Okay, mostly you can see these things in the cities, in the societies. Okay, so it was one of them, that is Prince Edward Street. No one knew this street as well as did Pierre Dupin. So Pierre Dupin is a man who had seen this one. Okay, Pierre had delivered milk to the families of this street for 30 years. So this man, was selling the milk. Okay, and that's why since 30 years this Dupin was selling the milk in the same street. He was one of the many milk wagon drivers that worked for a milk company. So he was one of them who was working like a milk wagon driver. Now wagon means it's a wheeled vehicle, like in a normal life if you say that horse cart, bullock cart. Okay, so it has a wheel, so wheel can be in any way, it may be 2 or 4 or whatever it is, but that is called wagon. So he was carrying this milk on his wagon and selling the milk. Next, during the past 15 years, the horse which drew a milk wagon used by Pierre was a large white horse named Joseph. So he also had a horse. Okay, this is another second story where you can hear of a horse. So this horse also was white color, and he had given the name that is Joseph. Now why he had given this name Joseph? Why? Because since he was shown here as a Christian person, in Christianity there is a Saint Joseph. Okay, he was very honest, honorable, faithful man. He was the husband of Mother Mary, and he was very faithful to her. Okay, that's why he must have given this name to this horse as Joseph, because this horse also was very faithful to him. When the big white horse first came to the milk company, he didn't have a name. They told Pierre that he would use the white horse. Pierre stroked the horse's back and looked into his eyes. So once when in the beginning when he brought this horse, he did not have the name. Then what happened? He decided to give the name. Now it's something like this. When you become so familiar with the person or with the things, you give the special name. And that's why this man also gave a special name to this horse. This is a nice horse, a kind and gentle one, said Pierre. I will name him after Saint Joseph, who was also very kind and gentle. See, as I told you in the beginning also, because he saw that this horse also is very kind and gentle, so he gave this name, that is Saint Joseph's name. So he said the name as Joseph. Within a year, Joseph knew the milk route as well as Pierre did. So within a year, this horse also recognized the places where he used to go. Means he also became very familiar to the same route, to the same place, okay, where this Dupin used to go. Pierre used to say that he didn't need rain. Now, why he is saying that he didn't need rain? He never touched them. So by he is telling that he did not even need the rain. Now why he is telling this way? Because the straps or the things he doesn't need, because this horse is very faithful to him. So he doesn't need to monitor him. He himself will go ahead. He himself will do all that what is necessary. So meaning to say that here he did not use himself as a master or owner, but he made himself to be a best friend of this horse. And that's why when we become someone's very best or very loving person, we don't need to go behind them. That is called faithfulness. If you give some work to your best friend, you know that he or she is going to do it very well. You don't need to go behind it. That is what same thing happened to this horse. Each morning, Payad arrived at the stables of the milk company at 5 o'clock. So every morning, this Payad used to arrive at 5 o'clock. See, the sharp time at 5 o'clock, he used to go there and used to fetch the milk and sell it. The wagon would be loaded and Joseph hitched to it. So once the wagon or the vehicle which was already loaded with the milk, Joseph was not waiting for any command or anything or any stop or any hit of this bridle. He used to just move ahead because he knows that my master has completed his work and I need to move forward. So that's why he used to be fastened with the rope. So he used to carry this wagon. Payad would call softly to Joseph, "Go on, my friend," and these splendid combinations would stalk proudly down the street. So he used to tell him, "Go on, my friend." See, that simple sentence makes us to understand that what great bonding that horse and Dupin had. So he used to say, "Go on, my friend." Means just move it. He didn't even have to command him. See, the commanding is different, requesting is different, and telling other persons is different thing. So here in meaning to say here, he didn't even have to command this horse, or he did not have to beat him or stroke him with the things to go ahead. He knew what he had to do it. The wagon, without any directions from Payad, would arrive in Prince Edward Stream. So once he moves ahead, then what happens? This vehicle will only stop where he had to deliver, deliver the milk. That is Prince Edward Street. So he used to just begin from the company and stop there up to the street. The horse would stop at the first house, allow Payad perhaps 30 seconds to get down from his seat and put a bottle of milk at the front door. So in the same street, he would stop at the first house. See, he was very familiar. He knew very well that where he had to stop. So he knew that I need to give milk to this family because they are the regular customers. So that is what he used to stand there, and then he would allow his master to just slowly get down, give the milk bottle, and then get on the horse and then proceed. See? Meaning to say here is he was so much familiar with the each action of his master. Again the horse would go on, skipping 2 houses and stopping at the third. So then again this horse would go ahead, and then two houses he would leave and then to go to the next door. Means he knew that this house is taking the milk or they are the regular customer, then other two ones are not the regular customers, then he had to go to next one. See, very much alert. Being an animal, he was very much alert what he had to do or what was his duty. Okay, meaning we can say that way. What was his duty? He knew very well to do it. So down the length of the street, the two would go. Then Joseph would turn around and come back along the other side to the street. Yes, Joseph was really a smart one. That's why, yes, Joseph was really a smart one. That's why he was thorough with all the actions, what he had to do it. And his master didn't even have to bother to guide him at all. At the stable, Bayard would boast of Joseph's skill. So when once the work is over, he used to take this horse to the stable where the animals are kept. Okay, where horses remain. So he would keep this horse there, and then he used to praise this Joseph's skill. I never touch the rein. He knows just where to stop. Why a blind man could do my job with Joseph pulling the wagon. So he's saying why a blind man could do my job with Joseph pulling the wagon. Now actually this Lupin was a blind man, but he knew very well what to do. So it went on for years. Pyre and Joseph grew old together, but gradually, not suddenly. Pyre's huge velvet mustache was pure white now, and Joseph didn't lift his knees too high. So now here what it says that as the years go by, they are becoming older. Means they became older and older. So the ages passes, days pass, years pass with the same action. Okay. Jackie, the foreman of the stable, never noticed that they were getting old until Pyre appeared one day carrying a big walking stick. So, the owner or the stable's man, Jackie, did not understand that they are becoming very old. Because for him, what was there? It was just a routine to send him to sell the milk. Okay, but one day when he saw this Pyre with a stick, walking stick, you know walking stick मीन्स हमारे ग्रैंडफादर के पास रहते हैं ना जो चल नहीं सकते अच्छे से, उनको सपोर्ट के लिए stick चाहिए, that is called walking stick. So one day when he was carrying the walking stick, only he realized that yeah, now this horse and this man both are getting very old. Even you can see in the picture the mustache and everything. You see how royally he is sitting on his horse, and how horse also goes very royally marching ahead. He pied. Jackie laughed. Maybe you have got the what thing. So this Pyre also makes fun of this Jackie. Maybe you have got the odd thing. So he's saying, you are now little bit old. Yes, Jackie replied Pyre uncertainly. But as one grows old, legs get tired. So he's saying, yeah, as the years have passed, I am becoming old. Yes, I know it that I am becoming old. And even I also get tired. Why? See, any human being, even normal person can get tired. And this, what about this man? He was already old man. And that's he says, yeah, everyone gets tired. And I am too, in the same way. You should teach the horse to place the milk bottles at the front door of your customers. Jackie said to him. He does everything else for you. So he is telling now is the time because you are getting old. Now is the time for you to train your horse in a deeper way so that he himself would take the bottles and place it in front of the door of all your customers. Okay, so that you don't have to walk with the stick, you don't have to be bended with it. One morning, the manager of the milk company came to inspect the early morning deliveries. Pointing out to Pyre, Jackie said to him, watch and how he talks to that horse whom he calls Joseph. So, one morning, now the manager of that company, the company which was selling this milk, he came to just inspect or to just see or check it, the morning deliveries of this milk. And then this owner of that stable, he says, you just watch it, how this old man, Pyre, talks to that white horse, his best friend Joseph. See the look into the horse's eyes. I think those two share a secret. So he's telling you just observe this horse and this owner or this man. They both share very deep bonding. By seeing in their eyes, we can make out that how deep bonding, how they love each other. So he's saying, I think they both of them share very secret. Now, very secret means, see, it's something when you have your best friend. he or she shares with you everything what he or she feels that I need to tell to my friend, and he or she will help me. That is the secret this also are. Now see, here what happens. Animal and human being. See, human to human sharing is different than human to animal. As I said in the beginning itself, only actions, gestures, or behavior only can make out what the animal wants to say to the man. Okay, so they need sign language here, and this is what they both were sharing very deeply. Sometimes they seem to chuckle at us. So sometimes what they do, they softly or partly suppressed their laugh. Okay, why? Because they must have seen something great thing or this in the while delivering the milk on the route in the morning. So he's telling that now here what happens is not only this horse was so much having bond of love with this man, but even the stable person also realized that bonding with this white horse Joseph. So he thinks that this deep feeling of Joseph and Dupin are cannot be separated. That feeling is very great feeling. Okay, and that's why he says, since you are old, better you don't get retired, but you see that your horse or your friend also does something extra for you. Piet is a good man, but he is getting old. Don't you think he should be retired and given a small pension? So now he is telling to this honor that you see he is becoming very old man, and now he will not be able to move as he used to be doing earlier. So I think we should tell him to not to come for the work. Let us give him a retirement, and instead of that retirement, let us give him a pension. Now pension is what? You get certain amount of money after your retirement. Once you have completed certain age of your service in any field or in any place, then you need to have retirement. And after the retirement, the money, some lumps of money you get every month to look after yourself, because now you will have no more job with you. So here that is called a pension, when you get some amount of money every month so that you can look after yourself. He is telling him that I think he should have been given a retirement, and we should give him pension. Of course, said the manager. The manager said, yeah, you are right in your place. I would also think that he should also have the retirement, and I should also give him some pension. Okay. He has been on this route now for 30 years, and not even once has there been a complaint against him. So then now manager says, yeah, since the record says that this man is very honest man, and I have not even got any complaint about him of selling the milk or any problem. So no customer has any problem with him. Okay, so since 30 years he is doing this job very faithfully. Tell him it is time he should rest. His salary will go on just the same. So he's telling, now you tell him that now he needs to get retirement, and then let him take the rest, and we should give him the same money or same amount what we were giving to him when he was delivering the milk. But Piet refused to retire. But Piet or Dupin did not want to get retirement. He could not bear the thought of not driving his Joseph every day. So he was so much with love with this horse that he was not even able to think that I will not be with my horse. Because once he gets retirement, he cannot use this horse because it's not his own. He is only the driver of the wagon. So he thought, I can't even imagine he's thinking that without Joseph every day. He said to Jacques, we are two old men, Joseph and I. So he is considering, see, here he is considering this horse also as a man. See, we are two old men. One is me and one is Joseph. Let us wear out together. So he is telling, let us both of us get retirement. Means me and Joseph too. When Joseph is ready to retire, then I too will live. So this master says, see, your age is seen, and we know that human beings need retirement. Horse can still run, or it can also work even few more years. So I shall see to it that for few years let him work, and when he also gets tired, then I would leave him, but not now. So both of you will not get retirement, only you will get the retirement. That is what he says. Jacques, who was a kind man, understood. So Jacques, the stableman, understood that here not the retirement is important, but bond of love, the togetherness, the oneness is important. Okay, so he understood that Dupin or Pied doesn't want to get away from this horse. There was something about Pied and Joseph which made a man smile tenderly. So that he smiled tenderly means very gently smiling. Why? Because he understood that both of them share very good relationship. It was as though each drew some hidden strength from each other. So he understood that this is not only just a mere horse, but this horse has become part and parcel of Pierre's life. And that's why he thought that both of them share some great strength from within. So both of them inspire each other to work harder. That is the meaning here. When Pierre was sitting in a seat and when Joseph was hitched to the wagon, neither seemed whole. So then he once again observed this Pierre and Joseph. Then he saw that they both are neither looked very old. Why they both? In a reality, he was old. But when they come together, when they work together, their tiredness and those things disappear. That is what he wants to say. But when they finished their work, Pied would limp down the street, seeming very old indeed. The horse's head would also drop, and he would walk very heavily to his door. So he says then now once when their work gets over, then we can see the tiredness on both of their faces. Now how we can see is a Pied who was limping with the leg because he was old, and even horse would keep his head very below or low, so that says that he is also very tired. Then one morning Jacques had a dreadful news for Pied. So one morning Jacques had a very bad news for Pied. What was that? He said, Pied, Joseph did not wake this morning. So he said one day to this Pied, see, Joseph is not awake this morning. He was old. Pied knew he was 25, and this is like 75 for a man. So then he knew this horse is 25, but as we compare animal, he is looking like 75 years old man. So then he feels very sad that Joseph did not wake up this morning. Yes, Pied said slowly, I am 75. Now I shall never see him again. My poor Joseph. So he's saying, yeah, now I will not be able to see my Joseph. I feel very bad for him. Jacques patted Pied on the shoulder. We will find another horse just as good as Joseph. So this stableman says, see, now since he is very tired old man, we can't make him to work very hard. So don't worry. we shall find another horse like him, just like him. Why in a month's time you will teach him your route? Then he's telling, in a month's time you will teach him also the route. Okay, so you don't worry about it. Well, he said, well. But he stopped when he looked into the pyre's eyes. And then he saw in the eyes of Pyre, he understood that he is also very much deeply hurt. For years, Pyre had worn a heavy cap, the peak of which came low over his eyes. Now, when Jackie looked into Pyre's eyes, he saw something which startled him. He saw a dead, lifeless look in them. The eyes were mirroring the grief that was in Pyre's heart and in his soul. It was as though his heart and soul had died. Now, this stableman, he gave another suggestion that if you also want to work here, we have to find another horse, and that horse you only would train him. So it will become like within a month, I know that you will train this horse also in such a way that he would become also like one of the Josephs. So after saying that, he just casually said all this. Then after saying this, he looked into the eyes of Pyre or Dupin, and then he realized what I said are only just words, but for him or for Pyre is not the words, is a deep feeling or oneness with the horse. Take today off, Pyre, Jackie said. So he is telling, today take off. Don't go for this delivery. You remain alone at home. But before Jack could complete his sentence, Pyre was already limping down the street. Tears were streaming down his cheeks and he was sobbing. So before he could say that you go take rest, see, that bonding made this Pyre to go on crying, weeping, because for him the horse was not the mere just horse or the animal which only was helping in his job. For him it was a family or family person in his life. So he was deeply wounded and that's why he was crying. There was a warning yell from the driver of a huge truck that was coming fast, and there was the stream of brakes, but it appeared that Pyre had heard neither. So then, as this Pyre was moving ahead, from behind there was a truck coming. And he didn't even hear because he was such a deeply with that horse that even he was not able to listen to the sound or the horn of the vehicle. 5 minutes later, an ambulance doctor said, he is dead. And then what happened? He was hit by the vehicle and he was dead. So when the doctors declared him dead, okay, so within 5 minutes he was dead. Jackie and several of the milk wagon driver had arrived by then. They looked down at the still figure. So then, by hearing the sound or by hearing the accident, all of the people, those who were there working there, and the Jackies also came there to see what has happened. And what happened is, Pyre was no more. I couldn't help it, the driver of the truck prostrated. So driver of the truck was regretting that I killed, means I was not able to save this man. Now purposely he did not kill. The reason is because he was coming in a full speed and this Pyre did not hear him, the horn or anything, and he was not moving, and when the speed vehicle comes, accident can happen very naturally. So saying, I wanted to save him, but I was not able to save him. Okay. Maybe there may be some other obstacles which was not allowing him to turn the other side the vehicle. Okay, but because it is a company and there many vehicles can come for selling, for delivering the milk. Okay, so he was not able to help it out. That is what he said. Though from his heart he wanted to save this man, but he was failed to be saved. I guess he walked into it as though he were blind. And then this driver says, I think when I was honing also, or when I was driving this, I think he was blind. And that is the reason that he did not see, or he was not able to see the vehicle, because he was coming in the full speed. And when he was coming in the full speed, he saw that this man is in between the road, or in the middle of the road. And that's why he thought that he must have seen the vehicle. And how is that he has not seen the vehicle? When you see the vehicle coming in front, you just move away from it. But here this man did not move. So he guessed that, I think he was a blind. And it was fact that he was the blind person. The ambulance doctor bent down. Blind? He said, looking into pied eyes. So, when this man said that I think he was blind, or he is a blind man, the doctors once again sat down to look into the eyes of this Dupin, that what this man says is fact or not. Why? Because they had only checked maybe the hand or the heartbeat of this man, and then they had declared that he is dead. But they had not checked in the eyes. Okay, so by hearing this, that I think he was a blind saying, and the driver of the truck says, they again started to see him. Means they wanted to check out that really he was blind or not. See those cataracts. This man has been blind for 5 years. See, and then since they were the doctors, they declared that he is having cataract. You know what is cataract? It's cataract eyes, that when you get those white patches and your vision becomes very vivid, means you can't see properly. Okay, so in Gujarati you say na motio, that is the thing. So he said, the doctor said, yeah, you are right. This man was blind since 5 years. Imagine. In these 5 years, this man was doing his job very faithfully. Why? Because the horse was with him. That bonding, that togetherness, that love made both of them, horse and the owner, okay, or the man, Dupin, to be very faithful and help in every way. And that's why knowing this horse was helping him in every way. Okay. Then he turned to Jaggies and said, you say he worked for you. Didn't you know he was blind? The doctor said, you said that he was working for you. So you knew this man and you did not know that he was a blind man? How is that? See, imagine the all actions, everything was done very perfectly, that no one could feel that this man was blind. No, Jackie said softly. None of us knew. There was only one who knew, a friend of his named Joseph. It was a secret, I think, just between those two. So he's telling now that now I realized that this man has such a great bonding with Joseph. because Joseph knew that this man or his own master is blind, and that's why he was accompanying him everywhere faithfully to deliver this milk. And what happens is here, when the bonding becomes very much deep, you can't live without each other. Same thing happened. This man, after knowing that the horse is no more, what happened? He felt very sad. He was shocked. For him, horse was not the only mere animal, or was not only the helper, but it was his life. And that's why when one life goes, another life also comes into the danger. And that's why he thought maybe because of this secret what they both were sharing each other, that this was the day when it came. Now here there are some meanings. I have already told you certain meanings about this chapter, and there are some more meanings. You can just go through it. Okay. Now activity 3. Now in activity 3, what is this? From which statement of the story do we find out that? Now here there are some sentences, okay, and the stories, when you hear in these stories, this activity has lot of things to tell us. Now here only one sentence is given, but in the story there are so many sentences, or there are things which tell us that this sentence is predictive, or this sentence tell us about deeply of this thing. So here there are 10 sentences, so we are going to continue with these 10 sentences. Activity 3. From which statement of the story do we find out that? Now here first, Pyed knew Prince Edward Street the best. Now how we will come to know, from which sentence we will know that Pyed has come to know this street very well. Now that is, if you can see page number 10. Okay, I have already written the answers there. In page number 10, you can see I have written in first line A31. So activity 3 and answer is 1. That is what that. No one knew this street as well as did Pyed Dupin. So that is the sentence which tells us that this horse knew, or Pyed knew, and horse also knew the street very well. Second, Pyed named Joseph. Now second one, how, with what sentence we can make out that Pyed named Joseph? That is in second paragraph. Okay, that is, this is a nice horse, a kind and gentle one, said Pyed. I will name him after Saint Joseph, who was also very kind and gentle. See, this is the line with what we can make out that this sentence is taken from this lines. Next, third, Joseph was really a smart horse. Now third, Joseph was really a smart horse. Now how we can make out? There is a full paragraph, that is, you can see from the wagon without any directions from Pyed would arrive in the Prince Edward Street. The horse would stop at the first door. So from this any sentence you can take it up to this, a smart horse. So with that, yes, Joseph was really a smart horse. So that is what you can make out from that. Okay, so you can write from this any sentence which you wish. Next, number 4. Joseph was getting old. Now with what sentence we can make out that Joseph was getting very old? That is in last, you can see last paragraph. Pyed and Joseph grew older together, but gradually, not suddenly. Pyed's huge vulgar mustache was pure white now, and Joseph didn't lift his knees to so high. So with this you can make out that this is the related sentences for number 4. Now 5. The manager thought that Pyed was a sincere worker. Now you can see on page number 11. Yes, the last I have written. He has been on his route now for 30 years, and not even once has there been a complaint against him. Tell him it is time he should rest. His salary will go on just the same. So from these sentences we can make out that the manager thought that the Pierre was a sincere worker. Number 6. Pierre couldn't work without Joseph. So you can take page number 12. I have written, we are two old men, Joseph and I. Let us wear out together. When Joseph is really too retired, then I too will live. So here he is telling that Pierre couldn't work without Joseph. That is the meaning that he said in a this way sentence. So that he wanted to say that I don't want to get retirement, neither I want my Joseph to get retired. Now next, number 7. Pierre drew strength from Joseph. Now you can see in second paragraph, I have already marked, it was as though each drew some hidden strength from the other. When Pierre was sitting in his seat and when Joseph was hitched to the wagon, neither seemed old. So these sentences tell us that Pierre drew strength from Joseph, means he was the one who would be inspired by him. Number 8. In a way, Joseph was as old as Pierre. Now, you can see the sentence, he was very old, Pierre. You know he was 25, and that is like 75 for men. So with that we can make out. Number 9. Jackie came to know about the grief in Pierre's heart. So that is the second last paragraph. You can see there it is written. When Jackie looked into Pierre's eyes, he saw something which startled him. He saw a dead, lifeless look in them. The eyes were mirroring the grief that was in Pierre's heart and in this soul. It was though his heart and soul had died. Okay. Now next. The truck driver couldn't save Pierre. Now here, the truck driver, now you can take the last one, that is last page, page number 13, second paragraph. I couldn't help it, the driver of the truck protested. He walked right into the truck. He never saw it. So up to this you can see. Now up to this exercise number 3 or activity 3 we have completed. Then next I shall continue with activity 4 later on. Then activity 4 is question answers. Some of the question answers I am going to do it. Some you have to do by yourself. Okay. So you can do it this. I will send the PDF file also of these answers. You can jot down those things in your notebook.